Hey guys, how you going? I hope you're all doing well and welcome to day 29 of the 30-day health kickstart. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about my own experiences and opinions on some of the topics that we've covered throughout this month. But this is not going to be a video about how I lost weight because I've already made videos on that. This is going to be more about the reality of losing weight, finding yourself, and how everything just isn't always as it seems. Now, I do want to quickly mention about my eye. I'm not the sort of person that if I have like a pimple or my psoriasis is flared up or something like that, that I'm gonna point it out, because I quite frankly think that that's silly. It's just pointing out something for the sake of it. However, this could be quite distracting. I don't know if you can actually see it on the camera very well, but in the viewfinder, it looks quite obvious. I just don't want anyone to be worried. But essentially, I've just burst a blood vessel in my eye and it's just started spreading. So it kind of looks a little bit scary. It's not dangerous. I've had this happen before, but I've just been a little bit stressed recently and not been sleeping as well and everything else, and this has happened. So I just wanted to mention it. Everything is fine. I hope it's not too distracting. I was gonna wear my glasses, but I feel like that's even more distracting because the light's reflecting off them from the window. So anyway, we're not having the glasses, we're just gonna deal with it. So throughout this series so far, we've been focusing on the science and the principles of health and fitness. And we've been working out how to set goals and how to really achieve lifelong health. Now, this is all well and good, but the reason I am so passionate about sharing this information and helping others is because I have, and I still do, live this experience. I have experienced weight loss and the challenges of health and fitness from a personal level, and that of a coach as well. And that's something that I think has been missing from this series, is the human aspect. Of course, I've shared my opinion and used some of my examples from the past, but there is definitely a lot of things that come up throughout health and fitness journey that seem trivial to many people who haven't experienced it, but sometimes can far outweigh the simple principles of health and fitness. Advice is great, and I truly believe that having knowledge about something really does give you the power to put things in place and implement them without feeling daunted and having a good understanding of what's going on. But I know there are a lot of different factors that come into play when you're trying to implement health and fitness changes, trying to lose weight, or trying just to focus on lifelong health. The human aspect, the constant battle with yourself, a lack of motivation, body image issues, ups and downs, and what do you do when you finally achieve what you set out to do? Like I said, we're going to take a bit of a change of pace in this video, so grab yourself a cup of tea and I'm going to talk you through some of the things that really put the human behind what we've been talking about. And we're going to discuss the good, the bad, and why losing weight won't make you happy. Now, I had this conversation quite a lot, and I feel like a lot of you guys agree from the conversations that we've had here on YouTube and also over on Instagram that losing weight won't inherently make you happy. And this is something that I just want to delve into in a little bit more detail, because I think this has been the cornerstone of my entire journey, is just the search for happiness or contentness. So let's take it back to when this all started. When I was overweight, I was unhappy. I used to cry all the time, clothes didn't fit me, I wasn't satisfied with what I saw in the mirror, but at the same time, I was kind of floating through life, blissfully unaware of everything, because I was carefree and I had no expectations on myself. Even when people made mean comments, and I did used to get some mean comments about my weight, I would be half upset, and I still remember today the words that they actually said to me. I don't think I would ever forget. And then half of me just kind of didn't understand, and it's a bit of a weird thing to explain looking back. I don't think it makes much sense to someone who's not been in that situation, but I was almost blissfully unaware of how much weight I'd put on or the way I looked, but I was also very, very aware of it too. It's a really weird thing. Essentially, when I look back now, and I've said this before, at photos of myself in the past, I do look different than I remember feeling at the time, and I did have more weight than I remember having at the time. But that being said, I also was unhappy with the way I looked and the way I felt. So while I was half upset and not happy with the way I looked, half of me was just blissfully unaware and carefree. That being said, I always saw weight loss as the answer to all my problems. I thought if I lost weight and I physically took up less space, then I would be happier. I was wrong. Aside from not liking the way that I looked, because quite frankly at the time that was really, really important to me, I also wasn't healthy. Although I wasn't physically sick from my weight at the time, I didn't move well and I didn't have a lifestyle that I enjoyed. I wasn't doing anything. I ate far too much and I just wasn't healthy. So when I lost weight, I did it because I knew that something had to change and I needed to work on my health. But at the same time, I also felt that if I saw a lower number on the scales or my clothing size was smaller, that secretly it would make me happier. So I started losing weight, and I did it kind of in secret. I didn't tell anyone, I didn't tell anyone I worked with, I didn't tell any of my friends. I just started hustling at nighttime after work in my apartment, just doing my exercise, changing what I ate, and really just keeping it under wraps. Ironically, with the job I have now, I'm the sort of person that doesn't like to share a lot of stuff. It's something that I'm still trying to work on, but I've always felt that when I share information, I put myself into a position of vulnerability, and that scares me. And I know that's not always the case. In fact, sometimes it can be really, really good to share information, to share ideas, to share what you're working on. But it's something that I have struggled with as long as I can remember. Since I was a child, I just prefer to hustle in silence and do my own thing rather than being super loud and telling everyone what I'm doing. So realistically at the time, it was just me, an insecure and unhealthy girl trying to make an improvement to my life. And that's why I have so little footage and so few photos of that time. If I do have any, I will pop them in this video. But I was just doing it for me, to make a change, to hopefully feel a little bit happier and to feel like I had a little bit more control. But essentially, I knew that something needed to change. Of course, that journey was full of education, ups and downs, times where I was lying on my kitchen floor crying, times when I was celebrating having lost some weight on the scale, times when I was purchasing smaller sizes of clothes, and all the rest. So it was a hard journey, full of dedication and a really, really big learning process. But around 7 to 8 months later, I had lost a significant amount of weight, around 25 kilos, and I was a healthy weight and physically what I suppose at the time would be seen in society as just a normal person. Like, I wasn't super fit looking, I wasn't super athletic, I wasn't overweight, I wasn't underweight, I was just a normal average weight. There was never really a point where I felt like it was a finish and I'd achieved my goal, because I don't think I ever really set out with a specific goal in mind. And I just went on living my life, accepting that was just the way it was now. I was satisfied and I was okay with everything in my life. It was just what was the new normal. I started a new job and everyone there obviously met me as the person who had lost weight. They didn't know about my past, so that kind of became my new identity. In hindsight, I don't know if I really ever adjusted to that new identity or if I had the time to really develop a change or a shift in how I felt about myself. And honestly, I don't know if I still have. I still see myself as a very, very different person to how, say, you would see me or friends see me that I meet now. It's been years now and it's crazy because this is my job, but I honestly think the mindset and the mentality behind weight loss is so significant and often forgotten about that I'm still trying to wrap my head around it myself. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it wasn't this huge momentous occasion, it wasn't this crazy thing where I was super satisfied and I felt like I'd achieved everything I'd ever wanted. It just became the new normal. Everything kind of just blended together and that was my life now. And looking back now, losing weight was such a tiny part of my journey, and I feel that's why I often forget that it even happened. And I think that's a really important point to make, that when we are looking to start out on a weight loss or health journey, or when we're in the middle of it, it feels like everything. It feels like the be all and end all, that there's so much riding on it that it's gonna be failure or you're gonna succeed, and there's only two options. But realistically, it is just a tiny piece of the puzzle. And when you look at a scale of your lifetime from birth to death, that 6 months, a year, 2 years, it pales into insignificance with everything else that goes on in your life. It's almost like starting a weight loss or a fitness journey is the trigger for fixing so many other things or having to work on so many other things. And some you'll experience throughout the journey, and some, like I still do, years and years later. So about 2 years after losing weight, I actually started to struggle really badly with depression and anxiety, and it manifested mainly in the form of health anxiety. So I had pretty bad hypochondria, and for the best part of 2 years I really struggled with this aspect of my life. Now, there's no way I would attribute this specifically to losing weight or to working on my fitness. However, it did seem apparent to me that now that I was healthier, there was a lot more to lose in getting injured or getting sick. And that thought really scared me, and I think it kind of heightened the experience that I went through with depression and anxiety. So over the space of 2 or 3 years, I had lost weight, I had maintained it, and everything that I thought it would give me in terms of happiness and satisfaction, I realized kind of just paled into insignificance very, very quickly. There was always new problems, new stresses, new insecurities to deal with. Nothing really changed in terms of my mood or how I felt or my happiness level. And with that came constant fluctuations in how I looked at myself and how I treated my body. So up until this point, it all sounds pretty negative, and I don't want this to be the theme of the video, because actually I want this video to be really, really motivating, and I want it to shift your focus. So let's talk about how it all changed for me. And that means we're gonna be talking about calisthenics. If you've watched my other videos, you'll know that I set a New Year's resolution to be able to do a chin-up, and I stumbled into this world of calisthenics. I did make an entire video on this, so I will link it up here if you want to go and check it out. But essentially, I just started to really, really love my exercise. I started to appreciate what my body could do and not what it looked like. I started to feed my body nourishing foods effortlessly because it just felt right, and I felt like I'd found myself and I was enjoying my life. Over time, as I started to work on my skills, I made new friends, I developed more self-confidence, I had a hobby which I loved, and everything just started to click into place. I was motivated, I was determined, and my body was moving better than it ever had before. Even simple tasks felt easier than I'd ever experienced. It had a positive impact on those around me, and it seemed to influence them to want to live a healthier life. And all the while, aesthetics barely registered anymore. What was making me happy now was not related to looks, numbers, or opinions. Now it was being present in the moment, smiling, having fun, experiencing new things. I was just living and loving life. With this training and this lifestyle, my body started to change, and with that, my mindset developed. I looked and felt different, and I started to realize that weight loss was never going to make me happy. And that's because my weight gain had been a byproduct of underlying issues that I had never even addressed. Low self-esteem, loneliness, a people-pleaser mentality, the feeling of being lost and not understanding anything. These were the things that I really needed to work on that had actually originally caused me to gain weight in the first place, and I never truly paid any attention to when I was losing weight. So I don't know why I expected the weight loss to make me happy, because it never fixed the issues that caused it. When my calisthenics journey progressed, it started to address all those underlying issues, and I started to develop and work on my own confidence, my loneliness, and how I felt about other people. I realized that weight loss truly is a side effect of prioritizing you, prioritizing your health, prioritizing your mental well-being, loving your body, and feeling good. So many things that, especially in the modern day society, are really, really hard to do. To find the time to focus on yourself, to not feel selfish when you prioritize yourself. It's really hard nowadays, but sometimes these are what cause us to gain weight or cause us to put our fitness to the side, and really are the things that we need to work on and adjust. And then weight loss or fitness starts to become a side effect of changing those things. So weight loss won't make you happy because it doesn't fix the underlying problems. It just kind of puts a band-aid on it for a while. But if you can identify what those triggers are, then you can start working on those, and essentially it leads to a balanced and content life with everything that you want to achieve alongside it. And I think this has been really highlighted to me over the last 7 or 8 months. And I have documented some of this on YouTube, but you guys really haven't seen the full force of it, because I want this to be a positive and happy place for you guys to come and for you to go away feeling motivated. But the reality is for the last 7 or 8 months, I have been really struggling. I have had a really hard time. I have gone through a few different illnesses and also had a significant injury on top of that. Being injured and unwell and in chronic pain has meant that I haven't been able to do what I love, and that is to go out and go hiking, to go on adventure, to go rock climbing, to go and have fun at the park with my friends, to do handstands and push-ups and monkey life stuff that I love to do. Because I haven't been able to do what I love and really still continue to work on those underlying problems that have always caused these issues in the first place, it has seemed very easy to want to revert back to that way of thinking of focusing on my insecurities and focusing on my downfalls. Because of this, it just makes you want to have control in any way possible. And it's really tempting to want to then fall into the trap of focusing on everything that health shouldn't be. Doing something out of sheer frustration or dislike as a punishment, rather than coming from a place of love and appreciation of what your body can do for you. So while this time of being injured has really challenged me in so many areas, it has also been a fantastic way of making me appreciate and understand what's the deeper issue here and why simply losing weight or simply getting fitter will never make you happy. I still have many insecurities, imposter syndrome, self-doubt, but one thing that's apparent to me is when I stop stressing about a specific goal or a specific time frame, when I shift my focus to a life that's free of restriction and expectations, that is when I'm my truest, authentic, and happiest self. It's taken me a long time to come to these conclusions. It's taken a lot of soul searching, it's taken a lot of work, and it's something that I am still really working hard on, and I'm not great at it still. I'm fantastic at putting myself down and focusing on the wrong things, and that is especially highlighted, like I say, when what I love to do is taken away from me, and the thing that kind of made me realize it all in the first place, I'm unable to do. But I hope that it's given you a bit of a different perspective of health and fitness. I know it's something that a lot of us rationally understand, and we rationally know, like our brains are aware that of course losing weight will not make you happy. It's not the be all and end all, and that all your problems will still be there. But we secretly and subconsciously do think that it will take away a lot of stress. And from my personal experience and my experiences working with people, actually, it tends to heighten your feelings in those areas. And so it's really important to focus on living well and living a balanced life and trying to prioritize yourself and come at everything that you do from a place of, I love my body and I appreciate what it does for me, and I want to see how much I can challenge myself or what I can achieve, or I just want to simply be the best person I can be for me, for my family, for my friends, whatever your priority is. But ultimately it needs to be what you want, and it takes a lot of hard work and soul searching to really understand that. If you feel good and you're content and happy in what you're doing most of the time, everything else will just slot into place and follow with it. So focus on finding that thing, whether that be dancing to Disney songs or going hiking up a mountain or adopting 10 different pets from a shelter, whatever it is, these are the things that are going to truly help you lead a content and happy life. And along with that, usually everything else that you want to achieve becomes a hell of a lot easier to achieve. Alright guys, that's what I've got for you. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you've taken something away from it. I would love to hear your opinions and your thoughts about this topic down in the comment section, because I actually don't really see it talked about quite a lot. So it would be really interesting to get your opinion. I'm sorry that the light has been constantly changing from light to dark. Again, I'm just using natural light in the window, so it's been constantly changing because it's such a cloudy day. But thank you for putting up with it. I hope that you have enjoyed this series so far. We have one more video to go, and I'm going to be doing a live Q&A tomorrow. So any questions that you can have, you can either pop down below, or I'm going to put a community tab post up so you can check that out there. All right guys, I will see you then. I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.